Welcome to summer Germany and rip in pepperonis this face mask. But that's not what today's video is going to be about. Today's video is about the Pirelli Diablo Supercorsa. It's the Pirelli Racetrack tire for the KTM RC390, but it is road legal. I think there are full-blown slicks maybe, but this definitely is well suited for the racetrack. Believe me, I've tried. And you can identify it by this sexy lightning pattern that they have on them. I think the rear one is actually the Pirelli Diablo Supercorsa V2. As you can see here, there are still chicken strips on them, but on this type of bike, it is a matter of fact that you will never be able, unless you actually crash. And believe me, I did go elbow down on these tires once only though, but you will never be able to reach the absolute limit because they are very highly curved back there, but they are a lot smaller than your 180 millimeters usual super sports tire. So let's get on the bike and I will tell you what I felt about them whilst I've been riding them. I bought them at the racetrack actually for a relatively high price of, I think was 330 something euros, and I'm sure you can get them for cheaper. Usually this is not the price range where I would want to buy my tires, to be perfectly honest, but well, I was at the racetrack, I was in a pinch, I needed tires that I could fully trust. And you can trust these tires. The way Slutty put it, who I met at that racetrack, is that these tires are capable of way more than I am. And he said that about different tires, but for my skill set and my way of riding for the Supercourses, this is definitely true. But before I forget it, while I rumble on how great they are, I'm quite sure they are not perfectly fit for rain riding, but I did ride them in the rain super cautiously though, because as you saw, there's very little tread on them. There's not a lot of room for the water to go, but they work just fine. I mean, unless you ride fast in the rain, these tires will still work. And personally, I was very worried about that. Then I think I should explain my riding style, and you should also be able to see or to get an idea of my riding style in this short little VOD. Is it a video on demand? I guess not. In this short little vlog, I tend to ride very smoothly, and if I'm quick, it's on acceleration. Because I like to avoid braking, to save brake pads and to save tires. And the way you do that is just by rolling off the throttle most of the time. And another thing is that with this bike, especially on the racetrack, you won't have to brake at all ever actually, so this is something that I don't need to do as much. But I'm quite sure they are perfectly able to handle strong braking maneuvers. What people tend to say is that basically the tires are what connect you to the ground. So they are one of the most vital aspects for your riding. And they also have a strong influence on your confidence. And I'm super confident in those tires. You may or may not remember, or might not actually have commented on it. When I first got this bike, I couldn't do my usual practice runs, which maybe I'll take you to later as well. There is doing a fairly tight figure of 8 in first gear on this bike at 25 to 30 kilometers an hour, and I wasn't able to. And as it turned out, once I was at the racetrack and my confidence had increased so much in these tires, and I knew that you can lean them a lot more, you are not using the tire at all. Only then was I able to do it on the bike. So if you're confident enough, you may be able to push those tires to the limit, but I haven't had any issues at all. They also have been very good in terms of warming up. I've ridden them since roughly I had 1,500 kilometers on the odometer. Now I have 5,600 on, and they're just about finished. I could keep them a bit more, but there's a trip I'm going to go on very soon, and for that I'm gonna want new tires. So I mean, basically I've already said anything there is to say about the tires. And that is, I have complete confidence in them. They have very good dry performance. I don't think they need quite a lot of warming up. For the KTM, they seem to get warm enough quickly enough. Although I tend to wait to go full beans mode until the engine is warm, but that as well on the RC390 is very, very quickly achieved. Like, you don't have to wait at all. They are great tires. They are not what I strictly speaking would recommend unless you are definitely going to go to the racetrack, or you want something that in warm conditions really, really gives you all the confidence that you're ever going to need. Which they do. I mean, if I lack confidence, it's confidence I lack in myself. The only gripe that I found, but this may be very, very personal to me, is that in very quick switchbacks, in a corner following the other in the other direction, it almost felt like there was a bit of resistance. And the way I can explain it, that the tires, especially the way I've ridden them more and more, have become more and more V-shaped, and that when you have an absolute change of direction, basically hit this corner up there, and you have this little bump where you have to push a bit more to get over it. But this may be due to my body positioning, maybe to my bad leverage on the handlebars. It could be anything. It may have nothing to do with the tires after all, and it's a very minor gripe. It's just that I noticed on the bike with these tires, when riding quickly, I'm not like once you really just in the middle of the position change. So you go left, and then right here there's a bit of a delay or a small resistant force that you have to overcome. It's not super strong, but like I said, it's something I've noticed. Yeah, that's that. Like, these tires are great for looking cool. I think they are the sexiest tires, basically. Their name is sexy as well. I mean, Diablo Supercorsa. Doesn't it sound amazing? That's that. Get them if you're going to the racetrack. Get them if you're really, really fast. Get them if you can restrain yourself in the rain. Get them if you have the money, because I am sure there are options that are good enough, and by good enough I mean perfectly fine, for road riding, that last a bit longer. I mean, on a bike like this, I don't know whether 4,000 kilometers roughly is that great, but I mean, I did start with them on the racetrack for 1.5 days, and on the racetrack they get used extra much, simply due to the surface already. It's the surface alone that's more abrasive, no matter how quick you ride, and you do ride quicker than on the road. At least I like to think so. And I hope you liked my short opinion piece about the Diablo Supercorsa and the Diablo Supercorsa V2. And I hope to see you in another video. Bye bye.